Hello everyone, welcome to year 3. Can you believe? Not only have we made it over 20 episodes of this show, we've also made it to year 3 of VNs Now, visualnovelsnow.com. My name is JP III, this is Sound Off, and I am very humble and fortunate to be with you today to celebrate this occasion. We actually do have a serious subject that I want to get into. Well, not a completely serious subject, as the title of this episode will tell you. But at the same time, it is something that we're going to have to talk about relatively maturely, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But in the beginning of all of this, I wanted to talk a little bit about the site itself, and not only send out my gratitude, but I also wanted to apologize. For the last 3 years, the site has gone through a lot of different changes, a lot of audible calling. We've had tremendous growth, and at the same time, tremendous setbacks. I still remember 2012, the days on end I would spend on the phone yelling at webs because the site was down and they couldn't fix it, or wouldn't fix it, depending on your point of view. I remember starting Tumblr. I remember not even any of that. I remember the very first review I posted for GSA, wondering if anybody was going to pay attention. And because at the time, and the reason I started the site, for those of you who don't know, is that I started the site because I didn't feel that the reviews some EVNs were getting, the ones who were lucky enough to get reviewed in gaming press, weren't really giving you enough of a reason to play them. Most of them would stick straight on that average line of C or B and not really give you any more details than that. And you still have that in some corners, but no one was really giving you the same kind of in-depth reviews that console gaming got. And as a console gamer, I can tell you, if it was good, you knew why it was good when you put down a review. If it sucked, you knew. If it's a visual novel, you're right there on the fence and you don't know. And it was just a different time 3 years ago. It was a completely different time, and I never wanted to be huge, but I did want to give this medium a fair hearing, and I haven't been able to do that in the past 6 months. I'm only one guy, and I know, despite I appreciate all the help I get on this site, the people who have reached out to help me, even though I can be hard on some, the people who have reached out to help me with this site have been tremendous, from the first to the last. But at the same time, you gotta take stock and look back, and the truth is, while I'm just one guy and I won't play everything, I haven't played nearly enough to hold up to my standards of what the site will be. Too much is slipping through the cracks. Too many conversations that could have been good conversations aren't happening. A lot of that is due to the site itself and just the structure I had to do because of where my money was at the time. When I left webs in complete frustration, I did not have the means to go to WordPress, although I did want to at the time. And I chose the cheaper option. And Weebly has been good to us. They've been very good. But it's not the most user-friendly not user-friendly interface, but user-friendly site on the face of website building. And maybe that may just be me. I've seen great Weebly sites that are very simple and straightforward. But for the things that and not to be the guy with the big head, because this is not a time for me to toot my own horn, but just the small, simple things that I want to do to make it a better gaming site, it has proven to be inadequate. And my approach to reviewing and my approach to playing these games has also proven to be inadequate. And that's depressing. The first time I realized it was about 2 months ago. It was sincerely depressing. I just kind of had to sit back and say, where do we go from here? I'm not going to tell you that I said, let's just shut it down and move on. That never crossed my mind. But there's always a way to do something better when you shut everything off in your life, and not in your life, but in your space, and think about it and just mull it over until you come up with a decision. You'll be surprised at what you come up with. And I think that after about a month and a half, almost 2 months really, because it started in April and it's now almost the end of June. So about 2.5 months of planning, recalculating plans. Though there are a few people who knew what my plans at the beginning of the year was, much of them have been scrapped, and going with new plans and pulling a lot of triggers. I'm very excited in the direction the site is going to go for the rest of the year, and the way that the parent company of the site will be going. There are projects that I put on the shelf and I talked about this at one point, that I really wanted to do, and for one reason or another, it got stopped. And I'm really looking forward to doing them now. And I won't get into the details. Things just happened the way they were supposed to happen. And now I can do some things that I've wanted to do, instead of just being the shrill voice in the corner, because I never just wanted the site to be that just one man throwing tomatoes at everything. It may seem like I go hard on some games, and to those who deserve it, I do. But at the same time, I want to be just as constructive as I was destructive. And hopefully, next 6 months to a year, to put it conservatively, that will be made clear. For those of you who know me for a while, and I mean before I started this site, you know that my original approach to all this was just throw everything together, try and do as much as you can at once, stay up to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, it doesn't matter, and just keep going until everything you can possibly think of is done. And while I can't do exactly that anymore, I can do more than I have done in the last 6 months. So to all the developers I've made promises to, Katie, God, I have it's really nice person who I have kept holding for over 6 months now. I'm very sorry for the wait. I apologize to Chariots, who I promised I would work with, but I will work on a review for them, same amount of time. I apologize to the folks at Sepia Tears, Mo and Novel, the Fastermind folks, Johnny X, and all of them who I promised I would get to it, and they got caught up in the same train that everybody else did. It is not what I wanted for the site, and unfortunately you got the worst of me in these last 6 months. And that's not a side that I ever wanted to bring to the site, and hopefully it's not a side that will be seen again. But I promise you I'll do better. I'm thankful to everybody who has been patient. I'm thankful to everybody who has continued to read and listen and watch. Because at the end of the day, I said it before and I'll say it again, it is just me. There is literally no reason to listen to me, other than I'm right. I'm right, and my voice is sexy. The southern drawl, man, it gets to women. And from what I understand, it is also attractive to some dogs. But some small breeds of dogs apparently like the southern drawl. But seriously, we have grown to... I'm floored by the people in the past month or so who have come to me and asked me to look at their game, give me their honest opinion, to help. I got an email from somebody asking me, and I'm not going to say begging because it wasn't begging, but they did say please more than once, to report in some way or another on the site their Kickstarter project. Now, I'm going to tell you which one because I've done a bunch, but one way or another, their Kickstarter project, asking me to do it because in their own words, my site would make the difference. And amazingly, I think it did. And the things we are able to do, the recognition that we're able to show people who would have never seen it before, who would have gotten buried on Limitsoft, buried on some other site. That comes not from me. Not completely from me. Some of it is me. A lot of it is me. I'm the one putting up the site. 50% is me. But the other 50% is all of you. The people on Twitter and Tumblr who keep me straight and encourage me even when they don't know they are. There are tweets and other messages I read that you may see me retweeted that encourage me long after I've thrown something away in total disgust. And I appreciate you. And the long-time supporters of the site, I really want to thank all the folks at Soccer Visual, Winter Wolves. This Chan has been amazing, and I wish them all the success in the world. Cyanide T folks, RL and Lorelei. If I forget any names here, blame it on the fact that I didn't write it down before I went into this monologue and not my heart. All of the artists, all of the folks on Tumblr, all of the folks from the JO livestream that have seen my work and pushed my work as well. All the new EVN creators who are looking at my site and taking what they can from it to make their game better. Thank you so much. This is an investment. It's not a job, it is an investment. And knowing that all of you are out there makes it so much worthwhile. So much more worthwhile. There is still a lot we have to do, but in the grand pantheon of things, when the day comes when VNs Now may very well shut down. I'm not going to say I may be doing this till I'm 60. I don't know. Like I said, the voice is sexy. I don't know, I can't say it twice with a straight face. But knowing that so many people are out there and you appreciate this small corner of the internet, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And I hope that what we do next, you will enjoy. We are not done yet with reviews. We're not done yet with RWBY. There is so much more coming. And I'll give as much of myself as I can without breaking. But I'm built Georgia strong, so I will manage. But this has rambled on long enough. And I can only be sappy for 15 minutes before I lose my mind. Thank you all. Oh, I forgot. The folks at the Bosch art competition and We Are Muslim. Those guys are amazing. If you're not following either of them, please do. Would you have imagined that in our third year, we would be, technically speaking, the only site that does what we do? Now, if you look at another visual novel review site, what you see is not a review. It's pure opinion and on whatever it is. It's just pure opinion on the guy's sexiness or the girl's sexiness or whatever. Even the new ones that are coming up from Destructoid and Lucy Morris over at Indie Stalk, all these folks that are starting to recognize and appreciate this genre, even with them, you don't have a site quite like this one. And hopefully those who have started or who have been here before I was and have gone on hiatus or have stopped will pick it back up. We need the conversation to be larger and involve more than just me. And that's one of the reasons why I decided on this today. And this was like the final decision in a long list of decisions that I had to make, that we will be switching to that WordPress site I wanted since last year. And we're just going to bite the bullet and do that. And I will be coming to you guys soon with new content that will fulfill the promises that I wanted to do years ago when I first started, but didn't have the capacity. And I hope and pray, I'm not making any promises that it's going to be the greatest thing ever, because I know me, it's not. But I hope and I pray that it will be the beginning of something entertaining, and it will truly represent all the hard work that so many of you do day in and day out. So, thank you very much again. And for our third year, we are aging gracefully. When we come back to sound off, the sappiness ends, and we start talking about body pillows. Yeah, this entire show is going up on YouTube, the first part, then the second part. Trust me, even if you skip over this part, which I hope you don't, that was all off the cuff, that was pretty clean. The second part you're not going to want to miss. We'll be right back. This is Sound Off.